In the dimly lit chamber of Castle Frankenstein, Nosferatu, with his grotesque features and piercing eyes, entered and stood before a group of the most infamous monsters in history. He had gathered the 3 relics, holding the monsters years ago, and have held the same yearly ritual ever since. With a wave of his claw-like hand and a whispered incantation, he opened a chest containing an ancient scroll. After reading it, he began to open the dusty sarcophagus of the mummy. The ancient creature rose, his eyes glowing with ancient power. Next, Nosferatu approached the experimental table in the center of the chamber, where Frankenstein's monster lay lifeless. The table was covered with a white blanket, adorned with a blue Paramount Plus logo and the words, "The Lodge," embroidered on it, also in blue. It was a leftover piece of merchandise from the recent Comic-Con, but it did the job of covering the table. Summoning a jolt of electricity, Nosferatu brought the creature to life, his yellow eyes flickering with confusion and fear. The monster sat up, the Paramount signature crinkling as the blanket lifted off of the monster and onto the floor. He walked toward the mummy, and the two greeted each other with a nod. Then Nosferatu turned to the coffin where Dracula slumbered. With a single, powerful command, he awoke the fellow count, who emerged from his coffin as a flying bat before showing off his human form with a menacing grin. "Nosferatu, my old friend, it's been so long. I trust you've been keeping the blood flowing." Nosferatu responded affirmatively with a simple glance. As the monsters gathered, Nosferatu raised his hands to the air, his claw-like fingers reaching out towards the darkness, and the air grew thick with a mysterious energy. Suddenly, 2 figures began to materialize in the shadows. It was the Phantom of the Opera and the Invisible Man. The 2 stepped forward. With the Invisible Man's face hidden behind bandages, he shouted, "It feels great to be back, my fellow fiends," in greeting before taking them off. Then, as the 6 got into formation, the Invisible Man shouted with an invisible grin, "Now, let's let the Monster Mash begin!" But before they can begin their annual ritual, a growly voice interrupted the music. "I don't think so!" Suddenly, a shiny gloved hand removes the Phantom of the Opera's mask from behind, revealing his ghastly face. Who could have done such a dubious deed? An enraged Freddy Krueger stormed in, his razor-sharp claws glinting in the dim light as he declared, "I've come to show you what real terror looks like. You see, I'm the stuff nightmares are made of, and I'd like to join your little boys' club." Freddy had come to join the ranks of the classic monsters, but Dracula was the first to object. "He's not even from Universal. He's from New Line Cinema. This man's brains are as barbecued as his skin." Freddy figured they wouldn't just let him in, so he brought reinforcements. With a sinister laugh, Freddy summoned Chucky, the good guy doll, Ghostface from Scream, Jason Voorhees, and Rexy, the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. With his ragtag gang of macabre, Freddy declared, "You bitches may be primetime, but we're the new stars." "This is ridiculous. The rights of half of these monsters are all hodgepodge. Isn't Ghostface owned by a costume company?" Dracula reasoned. "Rexy, Chucky, you both are in fact monsters owned by Universal. You both alone may join us. The rest are unfit." The hope was that having Freddy's largest and smallest allies switch sides would deter the other monsters from continuing. "Yeah, beat it, Grandpa. We're with fingers here." The two monsters were clearly in Freddy's camp. The two sides then faced off, ready to battle it all. But just as they were about to begin their battle, Nosferatu, not wanting a bloodbath, summoned a bolt of lightning, and Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, appeared in a stunning red gown. She was standing on the Monsterizer in the center of the chamber, which then began to rise.
Hold it, fellas. Let's not lose our heads here like your buddy over here. Everyone needs to have their fair share in speech, even though they aren't the most eloquent, as you might say, or the most glamorous, like, say, moi.
The monsters, enamored by her beauty, were taken aback by her bold statement. But she wasn't finished. Elvira then gave a speech about unity.
I don't know who you all are or where you came from, but you most certainly don't fit in this town, so you might as well start getting along, otherwise y'all are nothing but a mismatched pair of left feet.
"But, madam..."
If I want your opinion, I'll beat it out of you, Drake. I get your issue with the Charboiled guy over beside you. What's the problem with the ghosty and the hockey goalie? Your little rat friend there ain't from Universal. Why don't you let them join y'all? It may be another way to terrorize and entertain the youth of this era.
The monsters were stunned by her words, but they began to see the wisdom of her message. The monsters, now united, decided to have a dinner party dubbed the Monster Mashup. As they gathered around the table, they shared stories, jokes, and then, attempting to mimic Nosferatu's spell that summoned Elvira, Freddy Krueger summoned the bride instead, to the pleasant surprise of Frankenstein's monster. It was a night of laughter, camaraderie, and the realization that even the most fearsome creatures can find common ground. And so, the Monster Mashup became an annual tradition, a celebration of monsters in every era and their unique differences. But, in the background of it all, a whole other story was beginning to brew. In a dark chamber elsewhere within the depths of the earth, two entities meet after centuries apart. Welcome, Brown. It's been so long. Green? What the hell happened to your head? That's why I called you. It was stolen some time ago by a monster with the name of Nosferatu. I had sent our brother, Blue, to track him down and retrieve it. But now, he's gone missing. You son of a bitch! If our brother is lost forever because you couldn't keep track of your own skull, I'm gonna kick your pumpkin-headed ass! Where was Blue last seen? When we last spoke, he had tracked Nosferatu to an old castle in Germany. He's not gone yet, Brown. There's still time to save him. Go, and good luck.